Unit 6 then will go a bit further down into the operations themselves, so away from the strategy level towards the actual managing of operations. And here the big topic, and that will cover the first half of that unit, is quality management. I think quality, as you know, is one of the absolutely central terms to operations management. So we are going to look at how we can define quality, different ways of defining quality, of measuring qualities. There is also the question of different tools for improving quality. I think that is an area where all of you can contribute, because it is one of the very popular discussions around operations management. So all these quality management tools, from Kaizen to Six Sigma to the 7 S's to whatever. We obviously can't cover them all. I don't know how many flutter around in the world, but we will look at the most popular, the most often talked about, in order not only to give you an idea what they are like, what they actually do, but also to take a bit of a critical distance and have a look at for what processes they are actually appropriate, and whether, you know, there are some negative things to consider when employing them. With an eye to the particularities of service organization, again, we will then talk about service guarantees, like unconditional service guarantees, service recovery in the case of a service breaking down. All these are part of quality management. So operations research, while you would normally think of it as that part that happens in the actual factory or in the actual shop, quality management has nowadays been expanded to go well beyond the boundaries of the shop floor, if you want, and also look at, for example, how customers react after the transaction has been conducted. The second part of this module that talks about managing operations is the very nuts and bolts, if you want, of operations management. So it's capacity management, inventory management, sequencing, scheduling, these very, very practical concerns that nevertheless play a huge role in companies, and obviously play a huge role when it comes to reducing costs or to be as cost effective as possible. And with regard to capacity and inventory management, we will especially look at variations in demand. Obviously, that is the huge problem. If you try to plan your capacity and inventory, then you don't know, in most industries, you don't know what the demand will be. So you have fluctuating demand, you may have seasonal demands and so on. Yet your customers do expect, of course, that you always have the thing they want to buy on sale in that particular minute. So you have to come up with pretty clever models to achieve that. That will involve a little bit of statistics, but hopefully, even for those who are not too happy with mathematics, it should be something that is doable. We will then look in the same way at inventory models. What type of models can you apply in order to make sure you have the kind of inventory and enough of inventory for your customers, while at the same time not keeping huge storage facilities because they are quite costly. Sequencing and scheduling is the question of bottlenecks in manufacturing. operations, so the idea that sometimes you have a special machine that can't do everything at once, so you have to schedule things. But more importantly, for service operations, the whole idea of waiting, of queuing, keeping your customers, if not exactly happy, then at least not annoy them by the fact that you are so successful that customers actually queue for your service.